something to say, there's something to say.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Our House 21 with a very long overdue status update. Now, to all my subscribers, I apologize for being so long between updates, but life intervenes. But as you can see, I have been a busy bee since the last time that I've put an update. So this is just gonna be a quick one, just to give you a really quick just overview of all the things that are in my that are on my plate for the next few weeks. But hopefully I'll have some free time here to start cranking out some more videos. I've got a lot of backed up content. Well, let me just go ahead and jump in and tell you what's going on here. But in front of you, you will see that I have a lot of parts. A lot of parts. And just to describe what's going on here, you got a lot of quite a few projects that are going along. Now, in the back, there are two familiar faces. You see Slade and Dizzy. But they look a little bit different now. And that's because I visited our good friends at Dollay Hobbyz, and I have replaced the springs. So everybody's out there familiar with the stock springs that come on the Rustlers, and just go ahead and grab one here. This is a Rustler rear spring, and I have replaced all of my Rustler springs and my springs on Dizzy with GTR E-Revo springs. Now these guys are quite a bit beefier, as you will see. They have quite a lot of adjustability, and they're quite a bit shorter. But for on-road running, high-speed runs, this is exactly what you want. So, as you probably can't really tell from here, but the spring rate is substantially greater. So it's a lot. The cars, and also you can see here, the ride height is very, very much lower. Slade here got dropped by about an inch. So my guess is that, I haven't had a chance to get back out and do speed runs. Hopefully that's going to come this weekend. But, the cars are a lot flatter, both of them, in their performance. Less air getting under the car means less lift, which means they both should be much more stable at speed. So I'm hoping that that's going to be enough to go ahead and take them over the edge. But you'll also see I've also hit the internet and picked up quite a number of wheel balance weights, which I've rigged up into custom weight solutions for both Slade and Dizzy. So I've got, about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds in each car. So that takes Slade up to about just about 7.5 pounds fully loaded, and Dizzy at about 8 pounds fully loaded. And also you'll see I've also reinforced the wing in Dizzy substantially as well. There's a pretty hardcore piece of structural support under there that's also weighted as well. So weight balance of both vehicles is significantly improved, and both vehicles feel much, much better. Now I should also note that I had an interesting problem on on Slade here. And this is one of those things where, sometimes the upgraded part actually isn't the best solution. So if you look here at the back axle, you'll see that, well, if I can zoom in here, I used to have RPM suspension arms all around on this vehicle. And I had to actually go back to the stock Traxxas suspension arms. And the reason I did that was because the RPM arms were actually, what makes the RPM arms good is the fact that they're very flexible. The thing that makes the RPM arms bad for this type of application is because they're very flexible. See, going to the higher spring rate, the suspension is actually really, really hard, which means that there's a lot of force that's going on inside of the suspension. When you move it up and down, you can't really get a feel for it by me pushing at it, but just take my word for it. This is about quadruple the spring rate of what was in the Rustler at first. So with all those forces pent up, the very flexible arms for the RPM rear arms were actually bending at this point right here. So the spring wasn't compressing. The outer part of the suspension arm was actually acting like a leaf spring. So and just honestly, with over a year of bashing around and dealing with Virginia heat, the A-arms actually had a substantial droop to them. So I'll just cut in the picture of the suspension arms beforehand, but there was about an inch of drop in the suspension just because the arms were bowed so much. That actually worked to my advantage, I think, with the stock springs, because I was trying to get the car lower. But when I went to the much stiffer shocks, it just wasn't working because the shocks weren't doing anything, because essentially the A arms were acting like, they were my suspension, they were my leaf springs. So they were just much too flexible, much too pliable, and I had to let them go. So you see, I've already swapped in the back to stock Traxxas pieces, which are much stiffer. That also makes them much more brittle. So if I wreck, I have a much higher chance of these things, just completely going away. But the nice thing about these arms is that there are so many people trying to get rid of them on eBay. You can actually pick up some replacements for very cheap. So I've, like I said, replaced the rears. The fronts actually seem to be substantially stronger, so I still have them in for right now. But I think that I'm actually just to be consistent, I'm probably going to go back to the stock A arms on the front as well, and repurpose those for either my son's car, so he'll have a little bit more durable basher configuration, or they might find their way onto another project, which I'll get to here momentarily. Now, jumping over to my good friend Dizzy here, now you'll see that he looks a little different since the last time you saw him. He's also got the treatment with the GTR springs. Now I'll admit, I said these are E-Revo, they're actually not. I got it from Dollay Hobbyz, and one set is from an E-Revo, and the other set I think was from a Slayer. But still, GTR springs. And you'll also see that I got myself another set of on-street tires to mess around with. These are a set of Proline Road Rages mounted on some Traxxas chrome wheels. So they mount up, and these tires actually stick really well. But you also see here's my upgraded cooling fan solution, and I knew that I had a cooling problem because of my thermal shutdowns the last time I went out, and figure if I want to put a new fan on, I might as well go ahead and make it overkill. I'm still having some overheating issues with this, and I don't know if it's just because of the mechanical friction losses I'm getting from from the Mod 1 gears that are in here right now, or if there's an issue inside of one of my differentials. So I've got an upcoming video where I'm going to do a full differential rebuild and a bearing upgrade, and I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. But you'll also see, if you look right here, I borrowed this idea from one of the guys I subscribe to, Tin Man out there, and he has repurposed an XO1 brace, and really simple modification. The holes don't line up from the factory, but if you take a metal file and just widen these guys up and drill a couple new holes in here, this mounts up perfectly. It's a great shock tower brace, and also gives me a place to mount my high def camera here, which I got off the internet for about 20 bucks. But that's going to give me in-car footage as I do some runs. That should be some interesting video, for when I do get back out for my next set of runs. And also, you'll see I've got some weights mounted on the front of the bumper here, and also I've come up with a solution with weights that are inside of the battery tray as well. So like I said before, running weight of the car with all the weights is about 8 pounds. I think that should be enough to get me ahead, but I want to do another set of runs with the weights out, just to check out to see how if just running with the springs makes much of a difference, just dealing with weight transfer and the front end not lifting as much. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But Dizzy has actually given me one interesting set of problems, because with all these modifications that I've done to it in order to have it ready for speed run duty, it becomes a lot tougher to retrofit it back to slash configuration. And part of my initial goal with this vehicle was to have something that I can quickly turn around from bashing to street and back again. So since I've pretty much started optimizing them, that leaves a big hole in my stable. So that brings me to this guy right here. So I just happened to be on eBay. I saw a guy that had a slash LCG, well actually a rally, which is essentially a slash LCG that he was just trying to dump. So I picked this guy up, for just about $100. Well, actually, it was about 120 bucks all said and done, and that was for the rolling chassis with no wheels. I happened to pick up some wheels from another auction, an eBay auction site. A good guy is UA Hobbies, has some really great stuff. He parts out of slashes, so check him out there. So picked up parts to rebuild this guy. He's going to get the same power system as before. Got a new drive shaft. Got some other parts to take care of some things, like there's a broken shock tower. There's a broken hub axle stub back here. You know, so little things. So this guy's going to be up and running, and I'm actually going to do quite a bit of part transplants between it and Dizzy to try to, like for example, I've got my Velcro for my chassis guard that's on this chassis over here. And I guess I could just go ahead and just put more Velcro on here so I can take it back and forth. Or, I mean, slashes or the rally architecture is so easy to move things back and forth. I might just go ahead and swap the main part of the chassis between the vehicles, and then keep the axles, with the vehicles. I'm basically going to mix and match and try to get that all set up. But this guy's going to turn into my basher vehicle. So I'll be able to quickly go back and forth between my slash body and the rally body, and maybe some other bodies. So I'm kind of playing around with some other ideas. But some of you guys who check my Google Plus page, you've seen my my plan for my rally body, sorry, my slash body. So I don't want to give it away until I actually do the video, but that's going to be coming up here pretty soon. So sit tight. You'll see some pretty interesting stuff kind of coming out of me. But now that leads us to all of this. So as I said, looking at the UA Hobbies eBay auctions, I started just picking up some spare parts for here and there to fix one vehicle or another vehicle. Next thing I know, I essentially had, 2/3 of the parts for a full slash LCG slash rally rolling chassis. So it's in for a penny, in for a pound. So inside this bag here, this is effectively a complete slash with the associated parts to balance it out. So I've got everything in here, from shocks to wiring to body mounts to the the entire vehicle is here. Differentials and Castle Creations Sidewinder SET combo, just like I mentioned before. So all this here is going to come up and build up another slash, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to configure it as a slash LCG. So, but also, since I have a lot of other spare parts laying around, you see this right here, I'm also going to build up a brand new rustler, complete ground up build with all new components, again using the same Sidewinder SET combo. So the rustler is definitely going on eBay, but I'm going to have to consult with you guys a little bit to kind of figure out what I should do with it. I'm debating whether I should go ahead and just set it up as a stock Rustler VXL type of equivalent, whether I should go ahead and give it some of the speed mods I've given the Slade over here, or if I should turn into a full hardcore basher. So post some comments, let me know what you think. I'm going to listen to you, but this guy is going to go up probably in the next few weeks. I'll be posting videos and I'll keep you informed. But there's going to be a very unique treatment to this body as well. So you guys are just going to have to stay tuned in and you'll see. But again, dropping hints, it's going to be the same treatments as going on the slash body that some of you guys have gotten a wind of already. So it should be interesting. So as you see, I've got a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm going to have a whole lot of fun. Oh, and I almost forgot something. You see this thing right here? Boca Bearings. Had some good conversations with the lovely folks at Boca, and they like some of the things I've been doing on my channel. So here in my little hand is a set of Boca ceramic yellow seal bearings. These are going in Dizzy. So I've made an agreement with these guys where I'm going to, well, I was very curious as to how much of a difference do ceramic bearings make versus stock bearings. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to do a complete set of benchmarks with Dizzy and before upgrade to see how much mechanical losses and drag am I getting through its drivetrain. Then I'm going to upgrade it with the Boca Bearing ceramics and do it all over again and see how much of an improvement do you actually get from going to these. Hopefully these will help to drop the rolling resistance of the vehicle enough to help me get over a little hump, and we'll see what these see what this can do. So again, this gonna it's gonna take a little while because I'm actually, as you can see, I've got quite a bit of work ahead of me, but I'm going to be tearing apart and rebuilding the differentials in Dizzy, the new guy, and building up a brand new vehicle from scratch. So you're going to see a lot of, I'm going to try to get a more regular rhythm with my updates. So hopefully at least once every 2 weeks, maybe even once a week. But I'll keep you guys informed. I'll let you guys make suggestions along the way, and I'll listen to what you have to say, and I'll be very intrigued to see what kind of comments I'm going to get back from you guys. I look at this as a community project. I value your input. So I'll be very, very, very interested to see what interesting ideas you guys have, or if you have course corrections, or if you have suggestions as to things that I could do to make these guys better. All right, so now I have to clean up this mess before my wife wakes up. But thanks a lot, guys. Always a pleasure. And remember, get out there, break it, fix it, do it all over again, and fly, fix, fly. You know the motto, that's the mantra. Live by it and have fun. All right, guys, you take care, and I will see you next time.